Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at who's got you on their mind and what do they want to say. So there are three groups to choose from. Group one is the Amethyst point, along with this group of cards. Group two is the Fluorite, along with this group of cards. And group three is the Carnelian, along with this group of cards. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video if you would like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling the cards to clear the energy in between groups and then tap into the energy of the group I am about to read for. So I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and we'll get right into it. Hi, group one. You chose the Amethyst point along with these cards, which I will start with to get a feel for who's got you on their mind, what are their thoughts, maybe a prelude to what they want to say. Got the Page of Cups, the World, Ace of Wands, Death, Queen of Cups, Freedom, Tarot cards, Guidance, and Choices. So Right away to start with, just in terms of signs, with the cups we've got water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Death is Scorpio energy. Wands is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And the world for me as a reader is fixed energy, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio. So with death in the world, this does look to be somebody that you are in separation from, in no contact from. With this choices coming up, this could have been somebody who maybe had several options in romance in the past and chose to move in another direction romantically, either choosing to be single, maybe returning to a previous partner, or remaining in a connection or a marriage that they were already in when you met them. But it's a sense of conclusion here, a sense of finality, where both of you have kind of moved off into other directions based on the choice that was made. Some time may have passed. You may have processed a lot of grief and emotions regarding this with the Page of Cups and the Queen of Cups. It does seem to be that on your part, going from the Page to the Queen, that you've come to a place of peace and acceptance regarding what has happened with this person. With the Ace of Wands, you could still have a lot of attraction and love for them. They could still really hold a special place in your heart, but you've come to the point of moving beyond kind of this very nagging longing to have them return, or to this hope that they will kind of make a different choice. You may have with this tarot cards with guidance, you may have gotten some personal readings about this person. Maybe you're watching pick-a-card readings, or if you pull tarot cards on your own, you may have kind of looked into the situation with this person. Spirituality and divination could have really assisted you as far as kind of evolving emotionally in this situation. Maybe a lot of unanswered questions, kind of with this death card, a very sudden energy of this person cutting things off with you, maybe even ghosting you in this situation, or just not leaving a lot of room to discuss things. I'm kind of almost getting this idea of them sending you some kind of a correspondence, some kind of a letter, a text, or an email, and then blocking off communication so that you didn't have the ability to respond to that. There was no back and forth. It was just kind of a declaration, something very final, something where there wasn't a lot of room for, again, discussion, or really for this person to kind of hear your side of the story. There could have been some vagueness associated with that, something that really caught you off guard. Things could have been going very well with this person. There could have been a lot of harmony. You could have felt very free in this connection, identified this person as a counterpart, a soulmate, a twin flame. At one point in time, felt that the two of you were very much in alignment in terms of your emotions and what you wanted out of this connection going forward. And it seemed that you were both moving toward this same goal of kind of taking things to the next level. And then this person abruptly could have put the brakes on, kind of again made the choice to go back to a previous partner, maybe some kind of fears of commitment, fears of kind of taking that plunge into the next level of this connection, maybe a deepening of the emotions. Could have really caused them to kind of put the brakes on, to pull back, to pull away from this connection, choose to remain single, or even opting for a connection with the Page of Cups and the Queen of Cups. There could have been a depth, an intensity to this situation, and this person chose to maybe go with a partner where it was a little more of a superficial connection, where there wasn't as deep of that kind of emotional bond, that intensity. Things were kind of surface level. Maybe somebody that ticked off a lot of boxes for them in terms of sort of the material representation of what an ideal partner would be for this person. Somebody that was very much in alignment with their projections of society on the type of person they should be with, projections from their family, their culture, their religion, their community in some way. Somebody that their friends and their family really approved of as the partner, and instead of really taking that leap of faith, taking that stepping out into that unknown, branching off, kind of deviating course from what had been suggested to them would be kind of the most suitable match in the form potentially of this connection. Something that could have been very outside of the box, very something very unusual for this person, or kind of outside of the norm of the typical types of partners, or even the dynamic of the relationship, maybe the circumstances under which you met, or even just kind of a level of a spiritual connection here, an aspect of spirituality. Maybe this is somebody who, you know, is very kind of traditional in a religious sense, or even kind of an atheist or an agnostic, and you might be a deeply spiritual person with the tarot cards here. You could be into kind of metaphysics, into divination, into, quote, alternative spirituality, as opposed to, you know, kind of like mainstream or popularized theological paths. Or on the contrast, you know, this, again, if you were dealing with someone who's maybe an atheist or an agnostic, you could have been a deeply religious person. And so there was kind of this contrast in your belief systems, or at least on paper, where it didn't really seem like it would be a suitable match, or it could be something which, you know, maybe would open up to conflict and dissonance between you in the past, and this person kind of allowing those kind of surface level things to really cause them to sort of cut off connection with you, to move in another direction, move back into that comfort zone, into that safe zone of what is known, what is familiar, something that, a connection that didn't come with as many sort of challenges, or this need to kind of defend the connection according to, you know, this person's belief system or kind of the exterior world. And this, again, with this tarot cards and the divination and the guidance, you again might be a deeply spiritual person. This connection and what occurred, this ending, could have really sparked a spiritual awakening within you as well, kind of turning to spirituality, going inward, seeking to love yourself in all the ways you wished that this person had loved you, and really this evolution and growth that has happened for you in the emotional space, in your heart space, in a spiritual sense, as a result of what has occurred, and this ending and this kind of conclusion with this person. Now, in terms of from their perspective, with both of these cards of ending, with the world and with death, both of these cards really speak to, again, conclusions, endings, but they give way to this energy of regeneration, rebirth. In the major arcana, following the world is the Fool, which is that new beginning. It's that leap of faith into the unknown. It's starting fresh. It's a new journey. It's a new chapter. With death, that does embody both the energy of something coming to a conclusion, but kind of out of those ashes, something new is reborn, something grows from that. This idea of regeneration. And also on this Ace of Wands card with this image of the butterfly here, and kind of this idea of rebirth, of renewal. And it really speaks to this person holding some hope inside, most likely this whole time, since they made that initial choice. There was always kind of this spark, this flame for you that never died, this hope that somewhere down the road, and I feel that this may have increased with time, kind of as they chose to go a safer route, or step back into that comfort zone. And time has passed, and they really are recognizing that contrast between the potential for emotional fulfillment that they had with you, or what was experienced with you, compared to what they are experiencing now. And so it's this desire within them that grows with time, and kind of shifts and morphs with time. This hope that your paths will cross again. This hope that the circumstances you find yourselves in, this ending that most likely they were the ones that initiated, that this is not truly the end of the story between the both of you. With this reference to guidance, they could also be getting signs and kind of nudges that are really bringing you to the forefront of their mind at this time. They may be recognizing some change that has occurred within you if they're able to kind of watch you from a distance, see you from afar, even sense you energetically, this kind of glow up that you have gone through, going from the page to the queen. Coming very much into this place of acceptance and peace within yourself, really focusing on filling your own cup rather than waiting for somebody else to do that, rather than seeking validation in the outside, from the exterior, from people, places, and circumstances. This is the energy of somebody who is really learning to cherish and value and appreciate themselves, self-soothe and nurture, a choice having been made on your part to kind of move out of the stagnancy, or even this emotional overwhelm, being very overcome with this feelings of loss, of of grief, almost grieving this connection like an actual death in your life. And this could have been something which was very debilitating, very limiting for some period of time, but a choice has been made on your part to kind of move beyond that, to sort of redirect your focus on cultivating and nurturing yourself, on healing yourself through this experience, growing through this experience, moving into a space of compassion for yourself and even in some way for this person through this experience. And this is something with which this person is really sensing energetically, and again might be getting kind of signs, synchronicities, nudges about. This person could also be getting tarot card readings about you, watching pick-a-card readings, still having you heavily on their mind, still very much energetically connected to you, I'm feeling, with all this kind of, these sort of streams of energy here. They're most likely feeling you in kind of that sacral chakra, this deep attraction, this sense of attraction, and then here in the crown chakra, in the third eye chakra, a lot of information coming in. Dreams, telepathy happening, signs in their material world that are really keeping this connection at the forefront of their mind, or bringing these thoughts back around, heightening that kind of pattern of thinking. It may have been something where you were always kind of on the back of their mind. You lived in their heart even after this choice was made, but something has really shifted and transformed in the energy exteriorly, and I feel also primarily based on the work you've done on yourself, that is really it's kind of sent a ripple out energetically to this person, to where they may have like an increased curiosity about you, again sort of looking into tarot card readings, forms of divination. Maybe they pull cards themselves and are just kind of trying to get a feel for what's going on. Maybe you don't have social media, or they don't have some way to really look into things in that sense. But this can also talk about, praying about this, asking for guidance, receiving a lot of signs, a lot of nudges, seeing your name a lot could be another thing that's coming up. And it's really creating almost this sense of renewed hope within this person. This knowing of this counterpart energy. And for some people, this will be something which, through this shift and this ripple, this person may have started to look into that. Why am I still thinking about this person? Why am I still feeling this person? Why is this person still on my mind after quite some time? And they may have come across ideas, beliefs about twin flames, about soulmates, twin souls, and this is something that this person is really resonating with. This person is really starting to also appreciate the differences between the both of you, as in fact very complementary. This sense of balancing each other out, being the yin to each other's yang, or yang to each other's yin, just depending on if you identify more as a divine masculine or a divine feminine. But there's definitely this counterpart energy here at the soul level, this intensity that I feel was recognized by this person, and that might have been the choice that was made in the past to either take that leap of faith, step off that ledge and trust the wings of spirit to kind of guide them along in this connection, to kind of take them to different heights within themselves, within love and romance and what they'd experienced in the past. And it was something that was very intriguing, but almost fear, hesitation, or kind of outside circumstances, opinions of others, or just even, again, that natural sort of fear of the unknown, kind of like the fear of death and what comes afterward. This idea of an ego death, or some way of being would need to come to an end in order to, or by embracing this connection in the past that this person, it was a decision this person wasn't willing or able to make. They allowed fear to kind of cause them to retract and retreat. But something has happened, something has shifted within this person, or there is this desire also to maybe travel towards you, to take action, to take movement in this situation, to reach out. Again, kind of this hope, this prayer, this fantasy that they have of your paths crossing again, of circumstances really playing out and aligning to where there is hope for renewal. There's a second chance in this. Something really also tying in with this person having gained wisdom by maybe making the choice to go in a different direction romantically, another partner, or just remaining single, and the sense of the grass not being greener on the other side, recognizing that they kind of made the wrong choice in this situation, that the partner that they chose, if they chose another party, there might not be anything directly wrong or negative about this person, but in some way way that relationship in terms of the fulfillment, in terms of, being challenged and supported through their own personal growth, it's limited with this other person. Maybe this person's values also, kind of their emotional depth, might be very surface level. This other person could be very focused on the material world, on opulence, on appearances. And this person, at kind of the heart space, at the core, at their soul, doesn't feel seen by this other person, doesn't feel understood, doesn't feel comfortable opening up, connecting in that way. Also memories of the ways in which you connected with this person previously, the telepathies, the dreams, the synchronicity. It feels like this is very much lacking in this other connection that they may have chosen to go into, or even if this is someone that just chose to remain single and maybe explore their options, they're not finding that. They're not able to replicate that with anyone else. And so as time is going on, as kind of seasons or even years are unfolding, it's kind of bringing that attention even more acutely to kind of this flame, this passion, this very unique relationship, almost a sense of you being the one, you being a very exceptional and extraordinary person from anyone else that they have encountered previously or since. So you might also be experiencing this person maybe reaching out energetically to you. You could really be sensing their energy around you, kind of with that sacral chakra, feeling that kind of that influx, that sort of very tangible energy, that kundalini energy, that kind of kundalini rising. You could be getting, kind of telepathic messages from this person, or even messages through song lyrics that are coming through. A lot of dreams could be increasing about this person, just really sensing them energetically around you. If kind of the signs had gone quiet for a while, the little synchronicities, the nudges, you could start experiencing an increase in that, which is really a sign of kind of the sort of the grander waves of energy between the both of you really shifting within this connection, kind of the personal transformation, even within this person, coming to terms with their feelings for you, learning to accept that they made the wrong choice in the past, or that the choice that they made at one point in time no longer resonates with them, that there's this desire to maybe explore this other option, lean into this connection further, kind of transcend that barrier of fear, move into an energy of trust where they may have really held back and constricted themselves in the past. And so all of that kind of flux and shift within both of you as individuals, and then through this kind of energetic bond, this exchange that kind of perpetuates between the both of you through distance, through separation, you both sort of, feeding into each other, almost this idea of kind of like vapors or fumes or smoke, and just kind of dancing with each other energetically through the air, through kind of the ethers, sort of ebbing and flowing into one another's awareness, into one another's energy field. There's a constancy to that, and something really shifting and changing. This person may be on the precipice of also wanting to reach out, wanting to reinitiate contact. Maybe this is somebody who, through tarot cards, is really kind of looking into that, trying to get a feel for if the time is right, are the conditions right, trying to feel into what's going on in your life, trying to really sense into that, pick up on that to recognize, is there still a chance? A lot of this is really at this point in time, I feel, going to have to operate on faith, on hope, on trust, something, and they're being challenged to do that, something that was a challenge before when you were right in front of them and they chose to walk away. And so now in this space of distance, they are again being challenged to move with faith and trust, to take that leap of faith, to open their heart and allow the wings of love to carry them, either in the form of closure for the both of you, some kind of vindication, that you're still on this person's mind, or that their feelings for you kind of exceeded anything they've experienced previously. For others of you, this can even be kind of the energy of a fresh start, maybe on the horizon or kind of in the works energetically, as this person really is starting to shift themselves out of a place of almost discontent into action mode, into stepping forth, into, again, kind of walking through that illusion of fear and stepping into that place of faith, where transformation is possible in this situation, where the ending that has occurred forward. That doesn't need to be the end of the story, period, for the both of you. But there is the potential also, again, with this butterfly here, to kind of ascend in this connection, to transcend the limits or the boundaries, the silence, the ending, and to experience sort of a new plane of experience and interaction with one another going forward. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self. Let's see, what do they want to tell you right now, group 1? Okay, and they say trust in divine timing. So this does feel like a very organic progression. A lot of this kind of shift within this person, this transformation within this person could be happening at kind of the energetic level. Somebody who's building that momentum, maybe doing, you know, again, kind of research via divination, feeling into things energetically, really confronting some shadows within themselves. It's a process of kind of inching their way beyond sort of this precipice that exists between the both of you now, even in the physical realm or energetically, to kind of have to retrace their steps to that point of choice where a decision was made to move in one direction, to kind of go back to that crossroads and summon the courage to make different choices then, or to reach out to move into that energy of trust and sort of leave behind the vibration of fear that they'd been operating in previously and for a while. And they also say, I'm clearing my karma. So karma can really talk about, again, just kind of cycles or patterns. This can be something where, again, this is sort of a cycle of fear, a pattern of fear. Again, this person really having been challenged in the past to move into a space of trust. Trust in the unknown, walking through that wall of fear about what would lie on the other side of taking a chance in this connection. They made a choice to step back into that comfort zone, to step back into what was comfortable and familiar and more predictable. And so that almost created a loop of experience for this person, situations, people, and vibrations that resonated with that. And here again, they have come back around to that point of decision, that point of the crossroads of, you know, are they going to continue to operate in that energy of fear, or are they going to make that choice to kind of break that habit, break that pattern? Have they learned that lesson? Has the message sunk in enough of what the results are when one operates out of that energy of fear, of self-limiting beliefs, and kind of the limited capacity for joy and growth and connection that with oneself and with others, that kind of operates and resides at that vibration of choosing fear, choosing that constriction. Okay, and they say, I am sending you telepathic messages. So that was definitely coming through. So confirmation of that. Dreams, telepathy, song lyrics might be particularly relevant for you at this time. And they also say our meeting was not random. So this is really tying in for me with this concept kind of karma. This person really being challenged to move through fear into an energy of trust. This connection, this situation, everything that has played out has really been kind of the staging ground for that. I feel that you're kind of mirroring and have mirrored each other in that sense. The work and the evolution that you have done on yourself to move out of kind of that stagnant vibration of pining for this person, longing for this person, really wallowing in what happened in the past, choosing instead to redirect that focus to self, filling your own cup, trusting in the power of love to heal, trusting in divine timing that, you know, if it's meant to be with you and this person, circumstances will align and will change in the future. That choice to move out of that kind of limited fear-based vibration into a stance of love. This is something which is also, through this connection, really an opportunity provided for this person to once again walk through that wall of fear into the energy of trust, into the energy of love, kind of looking beyond the surface appearance as well, and really being challenged through this connection to operate from that heart space, to let their soul lead the way, as opposed to kind of what outside circumstances might look like, or what the physical senses, the five senses of the material realm might be able to perceive. But in some way, this connection really sparking the both of you on this ascension journey, on some kind of an awakening journey, on a self-love journey to transcend the limits and the obstacles of what you've been taught or kind of enculturated with, to expand one's mind, even to, the understanding of what love can look and feel like, the dynamics and aspects and kind of the distance across which love can stretch, becoming and embodying that unconditional love for self, and through doing that first, then able to kind of radiate that out to others, to move into that space of compassion for others, understanding that we're all kind of operating with the tool as best as we can with the tools we have at every particular moment, and being open as well to the idea of, through personal change that has transpired within you, the fact that change is possible in others. Okay, and we also have push past fears, take the leap. So that's the big message here. This person really being confronted with this kind of wall of fear, this being a reoccurring lesson or a theme in this connection for the both of you. Work that you've done on yourself to really kind of master that, to take that action, to walk through those walls of fear. This has been energetically felt by this person. They could be literally looking to you as an example, or just kind of energetically wanting to follow your lead at this point in time, wanting to kind of mimic that as you have ascended. It's kind of, it's pulling and it's encouraging this person to do that work within themselves, to kind of rise up from beyond the vibration that they were operating at, which can then create the potential for change in the material circumstances between the both of you once kind of that internal work has been done, once that vibration has shifted. You have kind of risen in your vibration, and now this person is really being tasked to do the work to free themselves from those shackles of limiting beliefs. So I'm going to get a few more messages from this person for you, group 1. Okay, and they say, I find you incredibly attractive. So this is the energy of being magnetized back to you. This person seeing or sensing the shift that has occurred within you, kind of this ascension from the energy of the page to the queen, some emotional maturation that has taken place, some kind of another glow up in your life, reprioritizing yourself, focusing on your abundance, on knowing your worth, knowing your value. And this person, if they're seeing that or just sensing that, it's really magnetizing them to you. It's encouraging them to raise that vibration and to embody that love of self in a similar and unique way. And they also say, you deserve better than me. So there's again this idea that there's work that needs to be done on this person's part to raise that vibration. They're recognizing that in some way you have shifted your energy, that you're no longer radiating at the same level as this person. And so that could be kind of a daunting task. That's part of that sort of resistance and that wall of fears, maybe not being sure that they have what it takes to overcome some of the shadows and the challenges, the things they may have suppressed in the past. Being very magnetized, very encouraged energetically to do so, but still kind of digging their heels in a little bit, some resistance taking place, which then ties in with that idea of divine timing, where this needs to really happen organically, kind of piece by piece, bit by bit within this person internally first, in order to kind of radiate out then into meaningful change in actions, words, and behaviors towards you. And we also have jealous and possessive. So this can also relate to that idea of a glow up and this person really recognizing you in your full radiance at this point in time, which is making them keenly aware, if you are single, that you may not be on the market for long. And that this, even if they're not seeing this, just what they are sensing energetically in this shift in your vibration, in your energy. This is kind of that call to action, that call to arms on their part, that they need to, that window of opportunity that divine timing, for that chance of renewal that may have just kind of been operating in this energy of wishful thinking within this person, something they haven't really taken action to creating in the past. There's this sense of urgency almost that they're going to miss this chance, this opportunity, that as you've raised your vibration, you're going to continue to ascend, and it's going to create this further chasm between the both of you. So the time is now. They are once again with that idea of karma and kind of this wheel of karma. They are coming back to that crossroads period through however long that cycle has been, to where, you know, the conditions are ripe, the energy is ripe, the motivation is there to make that change, to take that first step in the direction of creating different circumstances for themselves internally, and then kind of as a consequence eventually in the external circumstances between the both of you. And so this kind of this fear of not, you know, this recognition maybe of not being good enough for you at this point in time, or the sense of, again, work that needs to be done within themselves, it could be holding them back. And it also feels that it's acting as this catalyst, this motivation, that they better start acting quickly, that there's no more time to procrastinate, there's no more room to just kind of stuff this away, to remain with what is kind of comfortable and numb and predictable, that, you know, this is the time. Now is the time to turn that page, to take that first step, to create change for themselves and in the future potential of this circumstance. And they also say, I love you. So that's that Ace of Wands, this fire that they have had for you that has continued to burn inside despite choices that they made in the past. It's this motivation. It's something that they may have been in denial about for a while or kind of suppressed, but it's coming back around to them, signs and synchronicities, and just kind of a sense of being very discontent with what's around them, not really having a lot of satisfaction. It just kind of having reached a plateau or a peak. There's nothing further to experience or grow or learn with other people, or maybe in a stance of being just kind of single, that sort of lifestyle is getting very tired for this person, and it's bringing them back to that core truth, that they do want love, they do want that connection, that the intensity of this situation, which may have kind of allured them and repelled them, it's something that they are yearning for. There's this desire, this feeling of wanting to almost come back home to themselves and come back home to this connection. And they also say, I'm afraid of commitment. So this can be, again, that kind of wall of fear that caused them to move into a space of wanting to just remain single, or choosing another partner where it may have been kind of a more surface level connection, not as intense. Feelings weren't really discussed. They could have put on kind of a mask or a portrayal or a show for this other person who didn't really take the time to want to scratch beneath the surface of that. And that worked for this person for a while. But again, there's this sense of that kind of having reached its expiration date, this person wanting something more, yearning for something more. The actions and the shifts taken within you have kind of set off those energetic alarm bells for this person that change is in the air. The conditions are ripe for that. And now is that time, once again, to take that leap of faith, that same choice presenting itself, to kind of sink back into that energy of fear, or to allow themselves to be moved and carried through that energy of trust into whatever new beginning or next chapter the universe has in store for them as an individual, and also in the long-term potential of this connection. So I'm going to get some guidance for you now, group 1 from Spirit, about this situation. Okay, so we have examine your integrity. So this is definitely encouraging you to continue to focus on self-love, on your self-worth, to really do some inventory and recognize what ways have you been kind of playing small with your life. It seems that you've done a lot of growth and ascension in the kind of emotional space, learning to sort of detach from the expectation of outcomes, detach from what has happened in this situation. But this is definitely something where if you're still holding this kind of seed of hope for this person, you're also really being encouraged to trust your instincts, trust your guidance. If this person reemerges and something feels off, it doesn't feel, they aren't able to demonstrate to you through words and actions that match that they have changed, that they have ascended, that they are, ready, willing, and able, that they are free in their life to be able to pursue this connection. If they are not meeting your needs and your expectations, there can be this temptation maybe to slip into old patterns of ways in which you settled in regards to this person, or you kind of put your life on hold, you put your needs secondary. So Spirit's really encouraging you to be very mindful of that when this person comes back around, if they come back around, to make sure that what is happening, the pace at which that is unfolding, is in alignment with your integrity and with your values. And again, with the kind of this seed of love and hope and the sense of maybe wish fulfillment, where you've moved forward in your life, but you've always kind of maybe kept that door open for this person. There is a potential that they could come back in prematurely, that sort of sense of urgency or that panic, that time is running out. This could be almost another lesson then that is needing to unfold in this situation, where you've cultivated this kind of inner knowing, you've learned to trust in your intuition, you've learned to really prioritize yourself and your own needs at this point in time. So just really making sure that everything is in alignment, that this person is able to follow through on promises that they make, that change has occurred, that if it was an issue of kind of a third party, making sure that they have actually left that third party, so that you don't become like a person on the side, or this isn't another example of them juggling two things, but making sure that concrete steps have been taken in order to kind of prepare the way, to pave the way for this person being open, willing, and able to offer you the kind of commitment and the kind of love and experience that you are worthy of, that you are deserving of, and that you really have stepped into this abundance of self and this love of self. You've raised your vibration in so many other ways that it's a little bit of caution to not kind of fall back into that old habit, that old pattern. Recognize how much growth has taken place, how far you have come, and it's really kind of on this person now to do that work. Not for you to have to settle or compromise, but for this person to really rise up, to really spread their wings and fly, with this image kind of a puppet as well. Again, making sure that that they have really cut off any sort of ties that are binding them to previous belief systems, previous partners, previous ways of being, ensuring that this person isn't coming with strings attached, being very careful with that, being very diligent with that, taking the time to really analyze that and kind of suss that out, and trusting your instinct, trusting your guidance as far as that, what you are seeing, versus sort of this maybe wishful thinking, or just being very elated at the idea that maybe this person has knocked on the door again. But if they haven't fully kind of removed themselves from obstacles that had presented themselves in the past, or maybe choices to move in another direction, or kind of that comfort zone, if there hasn't been sufficient evolution and growth beyond that, then part of that lesson for you at that point might be, again, asserting that self-love and those boundaries with this person that can also help them to really get even more serious about this journey of growth, get even more serious about stepping into that authenticity, get even more serious about moving beyond their comfort zone, breaking beyond that shell or that chrysalis, in order to really meet you at a higher vibration with kind of the intention of integrity and honesty and openness, being able to give and receive love in a healthy and reciprocal way, without sort of strings attached. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 1, this could be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got Z, N, L, U, O, M, W, J, and R. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the Fluorite along with these cards, which I will start with to get a feel for who's got you on their mind, kind of a prelude to what they want to say to you. What are they thinking? Got the Hierophant, Four of Swords, the Magician, Three of Wands, the Devil, Purification, Witch's Cottage, Security, and Hope. So to start with, in terms of signs, with the Hierophant, we have Taurus. With the Swords, that's air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. The Magician is Gemini, Wands is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and the Devil is Capricorn. So this could be a connection with the Four of Swords where things are kind of on pause. This person could be a little bit emotionally withdrawn from you. Communication could be limited. You could be taking a break from each other at this point in time. With the Three of Wands, this person could have really let you know that they had to kind of figure things out. They weren't really sure what they wanted. Maybe for some of you, they even, with this kind of reference to the devil here, and they weren't looking for commitment. They weren't looking to settle down. They wanted to keep their kind of options open. They wanted to stay single. They wanted to continue to date around. There could be some kind of obsession going on as well, maybe with work, for example. Somebody that has really been prioritizing kind of power in the material world, or opulence or finances, kind of prioritizing that over love. Somebody who is kind of at all costs and willing to sacrifice everything, including people that they care about, kind of their own emotional well-being, maybe even their own physical well-being, just to an obsessive degree, pursuing some kind of a goal or a passion with security here, maybe wanting that kind of fancy car, the big house, the overflowing bank account, just somebody that's almost got this unquenchable thirst, this insatiable hunger for success. And that could have been something where it really, again, sort of limited their ability to kind of participate reciprocally in this connection in the past. They could have really made you feel very disregarded, very much taken for granted. Somebody who, maybe would take an extraordinary amount of time to respond to texts or phone calls or emails, like days going by in between a response to a simple question. Somebody who was forgetting important dates or was just kind of leaving you hanging when you had agreed to kind of get together and meet up, but they just would get caught up with work or something in that other sense would distract them. Somebody who feels very much like their mind was always elsewhere, like they were very much distracted whenever dealing with you. Their focus was not on the time that was being spent with you, but was really, again, just always kind of thinking about, always kind of focusing on work or status, or just this acquisitiveness about them, where really comparing themselves to others. Somebody who also may have really been kind of very much consumed with having the best, having the latest this or that, whether that's gadget or fashion. Somebody who is just very much comparing themselves even to others around them, having this appearance that they wanted to keep up, something to where maybe the nature of this relationship or something about this circumstance could have really been at odds with that kind of superficial appearance that this person wanted to maintain or wanted to kind of put on or demonstrate. Somebody who may have also really kind of been taught that emotions are a sign of weakness, and so they could have really again just kind of suppressed that, not operated out of their emotional body in a very healthy manner. Somebody who could have just tried to keep things very surface level, someone who wouldn't really show that kind of vulnerable side. With this, in this deck here, also the devil is called the shadow side, so this person could have had kind of some dark secrets or aspects of themselves that they really, tried to keep hidden. Deep fears and insecurities as well, that it almost feels like they were trying to overcompensate for, in the form of really trying to kind of acquire all these things or create this kind of image of success for others. Somebody who, with that Three of Wands, and this doesn't necessarily even have to be a negative thing. This can be somebody who, with the Magician, is very adept at attracting that success, at manifesting that success for themselves. But it feels like it was really at odds with this connection, because when you were dealing with them, or even up to this point, love has not been on that list of what they've been prioritizing trying to create for themselves. This is somebody who, with this Three of Wands, is definitely future planning, is thinking about legacy, is thinking about, you know, again, long-term future, which is that's not necessarily a bad or a negative thing, but it feels like in the circumstances of this connection, that there was, you know, a sense of almost being invested in a very one-sided way in kind of the development of the emotion and the intimacy between the both of you. Somebody who, you know, is kind of closed off in that heart space, somebody who just really wasn't operating from that energy, somebody who could have made you feel very much alone in this connection, where things kind of on the surface, you know, if this was somebody with the Hierophant that you were married to, for example, where, you know, you could have been living a very comfortable lifestyle, a very satisfying lifestyle with this person, but in terms of emotions, in terms of, you know, really that quality time spent together, that there could have just been sort of a lack of that, a distance of that, or again, a distance within this person, somebody who wasn't able to really detach from work, somebody who is, you know, constantly getting emails or phone calls or things they're having to respond to in conjunction with their work or something that they're pursuing, that really just kind of took away from sort of this quality time that the two of you were spending together. And this could have really led to even you saying that you needed some time away from this circumstance, that you needed to, you know, this person needed to figure things out, what it is that they wanted. Maybe something where you said that the two of you weren't really seeing eye to eye, your priorities weren't equally matched. Where you were desiring or just setting your sights for a more spiritually fulfilling connection as well. This can be something where, you know, this time apart, it feels, whatever ultimatum was set, whether this was from this person or from you, something has really shifted. Something has really dawned on this person. This feels almost like this, with this purification, like a wake-up call. A lot of deep buried emotions as well within this person that, you know, perhaps even this focus on materialism could have really signaled running from a lot of pain within them, that this person kind of deep down beneath this sort of you know, very materially focused exterior, there's a lot of emotions within this person, a deeply emotional person, to where again that could have just felt very vulnerable and uncomfortable for them, but it feels like something has really occurred to them. They're finding themselves very much alone, maybe having reached that pinnacle of success in some manner, or really now having this opportunity to take a look around and realize that there's, you know, they need someone to share this with, that this success, this glory, trying to almost a sense of filling a void within them with things, trying to kind of clog that open wound within them by just filling it with stuff and with money and you know, just kind of always needing to go and do and experience, and somebody who, you know, just really has a hard time maybe even spending time alone in their own company, just always needs to be surrounded by other people, is always seeking to you know, kind of not slip into that quiet space of the mind out of fear of sort of these things that would come up for them, kind of wounds that they've just been sort of compartmentalizing and carrying along with them. But this also feels like kind of wounds and this sense of loss stemming from whatever sort of separation or distance now exists between the both of you. This is somebody who definitely, in hindsight, is recognizing how they took you for granted, what it was that they lost in this situation. This feels like somebody who, through this ability to manifest success for them, they could be somebody who kind of practices or adheres to law of attraction. Or just, you know, through their very mindset, this expectation of abundance, they're able to kind of magnetize in these experiences, coupled with kind of this work ethic and this determination on their part, a lot of skill as well at whatever it is that they do. This person is in this process of trying to manifest a fresh start with you, to renew some kind of hope. Maybe coming also, this is reminding me of like the star in tarot, which, you know, comes after that tower, that crumbling down, that darkness, that kind of period period where it feels like all is lost. And this is sort of that light at the end of the tunnel. This person is kind of recognizing some core wounds within themselves, recognizing that maybe their methods of kind of dealing with these things before, which was not dealing with them, which was ignoring them, which was focusing on other things or keeping their sights set exclusively on the material world to the exclusion of the heart space. Something has really given with that. Something has given way. Feels like this connection and the circumstance with you, it was kind of just that last bit of pressure. It was more than this person could handle, and in some way they've had to kind of address these things. They may have gone through some kind of a dark night of the soul, something really crumbling down as well, kind of deteriorating with that finance, with that success, whatever it was they were working toward. Maybe they reached that goal of success and that sweetness, standing on top of that hill victoriously, and they find themselves very isolated, nobody around to really share that victory with them, a sense of longing, a sense of having really, again, isolated them in sort of that rocky climb, that persistent climb to this, whatever that high point, to be king of the hill or queen of the hill, or, just really on top of the world, for whatever that means for them. But, now this sense of kind of longing at a deep and important spiritual connection that they had with you. That sense of companionship, these aspects that were being fulfilled within this person that they may have taken for granted in the past, feeling that loss, feeling that longing. And so there's this energy of really wanting to create a different circumstance between the both of you, with this kind of imagery of this cottage here, a sense of wanting to come home. This person really being forced to kind of come home to themselves as well, to address some kind of deep core wounds within themselves, some shadows that they had ignored, some fears that they had ignored, through any kind of silence or distance. A lot has really occurred to this person. Epiphanies may have come in as well with that swords energy. This person really assessing and kind of taking under review their belief systems about love, maybe their priorities as far as money, and the ways in which their priorities in the past had really operated to the disservice of this connection. There is this desire within this person, hope that it's not too late to turn things around, that you will still be open and receptive to them. Somebody who's almost now armed with the knowledge to do better. Somebody who, it doesn't feel like this was out of malice. This was just out of somebody who was really kind of running from themselves and what they were really kind of taught to believe, or what had become kind of a comfortable coping mechanism for kind of this deep pain or disappointments or inadequacies within themselves, was to just focus on what they could control, on finances, on material wealth, maybe the acquisition of that, or a particular skill that they had, something they were very good at. And it just became this obsessive, almost like tunnel vision focus upon this one thing. And something has really shifted with that to where, that tunnel vision has now expanded. They're recognizing kind of the need to prioritize and to fill their world in a more colorful way with things other than what they had been focusing on. That kind of the victory there is limited. It's something that was very constricted. Somebody who wasn't even aware that there was this, this whole other world of potential and experience around them. Somebody who, may have just, again, with this idea of taking you in the connection for granted in the past, somebody who's now waking up to kind of these deeper layers, this wider range of emotions that they have for you, this deeper significance that this connection has to them that they may have just been oblivious to before. And so with this energy here also of all these waterfalls, this person could be, crying a lot, going through a lot of catharsis, especially if this is a dark night of the soul that's happening. You could be picking up on a lot of that energetically, kind of purging a lot of things yourself, a lot of memories coming up for you. Maybe this is a significant time of year, or just kind of the distance from this person has just it's just kind of weighed down on you, or, it's something where just other circumstances in your life, other milestones, other accomplishments that you are achieving. And there's this sense of, you know, just kind of wishing that that person was there, that you could reach out to this person, missing having them by your side at this, you know, point of accomplishment. Kind of with this image of the cottage as well, the witch's cottage. This is kind of reminding me almost of Five of Pentacles, this feeling of being out in the cold, both of you kind of outside each other's lives, having to look in, kind of on the outskirts of experience with each other. This sense of sanctuary that you feel with one another, that you had experienced, or, you know, the potential that existed for that just was really, it feels like it was very one-sided. It feels like most likely you were the one who was really investing a lot in this, and this person was just not, you know, maybe their love language could have been giving gifts, buying fancy dinners. It could have been things as opposed to time spent together, attention, loving words, you know, hugs, things like that, kisses. That they could have just been very much somebody who you know, buys things, who proves, you know, tries to buy somebody's love or shows affection in that sense, and that would have been, you know, received with gratitude by you, but it was just kind of limited. It was not necessarily what you were looking for in terms of kind of that depth and those deeper layers of experience and kind of vulnerability and connectivity. So something where, again, really probably picking up on this energetic shift within this person, maybe a lot of kind of sorrow coming up for you, a lot of things coming up to be purged for you, as this person is kind of, it feels like both of you are sort of feeding off each other in this sense. A lot that's being cleared out in terms of disappointments. This person also really kind of looking to the future and what do they want to experience going forward, recognizing where they have been in their life, where they have been in this connection, and setting their sights on kind of a future, doing things differently, not really sure how to get there, not really having the tools at this point to properly navigate, being unsure of their ability to kind of wade through these emotional waters, to kind of reach that other shore, reach that other plateau, a different type of experience, kind of that sense of coming home to that sanctuary, which is connection and you offered them in the past. This person really longing for that, yearning for that, wanting that, prioritizing that in some way, taking some steps also with this magician, maybe working on communication skills, doing some shadow work within themselves to kind of heal some of those wounds, that fear of commitment, that fear of love, or even kind of deep disappointments and inadequacies within themselves that they kind of masked with this kind of surface level sense of accomplishment. So a lot sort of shifting within this person, and it feels like you know, this connection is on their mind, and you're probably picking up a lot on that energetically, kind of the nature, maybe some of these darker and heavier, denser thoughts that this person is processing, feelings of regret, of kind of missing out on somebody that could have been wish fulfillment, marriage material, somebody that they could really see by their side, almost this element of a power couple, but even not, you know, you both might have been very different in terms of your ideas of material success and wealth, but power in terms of very complementary gifts, you know, this power to kind of generate and experience sort of the energy of wealth and finance, the power to generate and appreciate and experience the power of love, the power of connectivity, just power on a multifold kind of level. And this person really trying to manifest and trying to hold on to this seed of hope that it's not too late for a fresh start or to sort of change the circumstances between the both of you. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 2. See what do they have to say. Okay, and they say, stop the mind chatter. You are safe. So I feel that this is almost like an internal dialogue to themselves, dealing with emotions, opening up to that emotional space, expressing their vulnerability could be very new territory for this person, very unshaky ground. There's a sense of it being very daunting as well with this, you know, all of these different waterfalls, these kind of emotional currents, this torrent, this deluge in their emotional body and their emotional space. And so there's this, you know, this could be somebody who's normally very confident confident, very successful at what they put their mind to. But this is an arena where they are inexperienced. They could be fighting a lot of doubt as well, kind of these self-deprecating thoughts that they're not good enough, that it's too late, that they've messed up, they've blown, the best thing that ever happened. They let the best thing that ever happened slip through their fingers, which may be very true, but they're trying to kind of cultivate that hope that, they will be able to kind of move towards you, to open up, to express themselves, to show up in this connection in a way that they previously were unable to do, or were, unskilled at doing, didn't feel very comfortable doing in the past. And they also say, my beliefs are changing. So that can tie into somebody who, again, really maybe had a belief system that to show emotion was to show weakness. Somebody who really identified themselves with what they had in the material world, with their success, with their ability to produce and acquire and achieve. And this is somebody who is starting to learn to value kind of that intangible wealth of companionship, of love, those very precious assets that money can't buy. And kind of tied in with that is this idea of really starting to recognize how they took you for granted in the past, and kind of this belief of really cherishing this connection, really prioritizing this connection, recognizing that that you are somebody that, there's this spiritual bond there. There's a sense of sanctuary. There's a sense of, even you having accepted this person for who they are, for kind of what their priorities were, even in the past, although there would have been this hope and this want for something more, hope that this person, in time would kind of open up to those deeper levels of self, those layers of self, that emotional vulnerability, and kind of recognizing you as somebody who stood by them, maybe through this process even of them really striving for those goals, striving to achieve those goals when others would have, really just become impatient with them and sort of left, or, people that they may now be surrounded with that only appreciate them for what they have, for what they can provide. And they're really seeing you, they're recognizing you as somebody who valued them for who they are at their core instead. And they also say you are integrating your masculine and feminine energies. So this feels very mirrored between the both of you. The two of you are learning to really move into this space of acceptance and create action in order to generate the change you wish to see. Coming to terms with where you've been and setting sights on what you want to experience going forward. This really feels like somebody as well who is learning, who may have really been operating out of that masculine energy, that go-getter energy, that pursuit energy, that, very action-oriented energy, somebody who's learning to step into that, that emotional space, that receptivity, that quiet within, somebody who's learning to really listen to their emotions, acknowledge those emotions, acknowledge this void that exists within them that they had tried to kind of mask or deflect or kind of plug with things, or with accomplishment, with money, with sort of surface level experiences as well. Somebody who's learning to become more comfortable, spending time in quiet, spending time on their own, taking time to kind of retreat or pull back, maybe taking time to, gift themselves with a little more free time, working a little bit less, setting firmer boundaries as far as when they are available, prioritizing self-care and self-healing at this time. And for some people, this could be something that's not even like a conscious choice. With all of this kind of deluge that is coming through, this idea of a dark night of the soul, the universe could have really stepped in for this person, jostled this person awake, maybe even the connection between the two of you ending, or things just, if you're still in sort of communication, but you just kind of getting to a point of hopelessness that things were going to change, shifting your sights elsewhere is reverberated to this person. And by setting your sights elsewhere, it could be in the form of maybe opening up to other romances, or just, reprioritizing, refocusing on yourself, not holding as much space, not holding as much of the weight in this connection as you had, to sustain it for the two of you emotionally. And kind of whatever shift has happened, this person, it's reverberated to this person. They're sensing that, they're feeling that. It's kind of allowed those floodgates to open within, the sense of panic, fear, and loss, these feelings of tenderness and love and yearning and want that they have denied within within themselves that they have no choice at this point but to face these things, to kind of ride that wave, ride those waters, to take action in what way they can, but then also kind of learn to just kind of flow with that, to receive and experience. And they also say, I feel changes I can't explain yet. So that can be that dark night of the soul energy, a lot shifting and changing and coming up, bubbling up from the surface, from the deep buried subconscious of this person. Maybe thinking back about grievances, wounds, slights from the past, being very confused as to why these kind of deeply buried memories, these core wounds, are being triggered and brought to the surface. A lot shifting with this person. It almost feels like they could be holding on to you energetically, almost as like a kind of a rock, a stronghold, an anchor, as they're kind of being shifted and swayed back and forth through all of these different kind of long buried and long denied, these dormant experiences and sensations within them. And they also say you are a highly sensitive empath. So I feel this person is really recognizing this quality within themselves as well. This is something where, a lot of times with the sensitivity of empaths and kind of taking in all of these, all of this different information in a variety of ways, picking up on energies, sensing into nuance, that can be very overwhelming when dealing with the world, when dealing with, other people, or even in the processing of our own emotions. Kind of looking back on our experiences. And so even with the devil coming up, this could be something where, a lot of times with empaths, a lot of empaths can turn to drugs or alcohol as a kind of a way to sort of numb, to kind of shut down that sensory overload that can happen. This could be something where this person maybe has been struggling with some addiction, or has been kind of using drugs or alcohol as a way to cope, in order to kind of for a while maybe shut off that kind of influx of emotions, that sensitivity within to things they've experienced in the past, their sensitivity to environments, to people, to situations, to energies, in order to sort of be able to maintain that focus and that drive, that striving to achieve something, trying to again kind of push away that kind of depth of experience and only focus on the superficial, sort of turn down the volume on the intensity of what they are perceiving energetically, what is going on within them energetically. And kind of the byproduct of that was this inability to really sense and feel into the deep and unique spiritual aspects of this connection when you two first came together, when you were last dealing with one another. So this person could also be at this point maybe working on sobriety, is recognizing that within themselves, some kind of a problem within themselves, maybe through a period of abstinence or complete sobriety from substances. It's kind of like this influx of all these emotions, experiencing these things, this overwhelm that this person could be going through. Things that they had just compartmentalized are now bubbling to the surface. They no longer have that way to numb out. They're no longer kind of putting a plug on that. They're allowing that to sort of come through. And so with that dark night of the soul energy, somebody who's in the process of processing things from within them, and is also kind of uncertain how to navigate the world without that crutch they may have been used to previously. And with that is also, again, kind of this recognition energetically and at a soul level that the two of you could be very comparable in that sense, both of you being empaths. This person also may be recognizing a higher calling for themselves than whatever it was they were focusing on in the material world. So a lot changing within this person in terms of how they deal with emotions within themselves, how they deal with kind of stimulation from their outside environment, how they relate to others in an emotional capacity, how they make their needs known, how to set up boundaries. All of these things could be kind of in the works with this person, and energetically kind of thinking about you, or really looking to you as an example, recognizing you as kind of this point on the horizon that they are trying to move toward. So I'm going to get some more messages for you, group 2, from this person's higher self. All right, and they say, I'm not ready. So that can definitely be that energy of kind of like the dark night of the soul that's going on, a lot changing within them, a lot of fluctuation happening, things kind of opening up and bubbling to the surface. So they are thinking of you, but there's a lot of other kind of there's a lot of other things in process at this point in time, a lot of other things that are needing to be worked through and kind of solved before they can make any sort of meaningful change in this situation. And they also say, I feel empty without you. So that was coming through with this Three of Wands and this idea of wherever this person found themselves in their life, maybe some success that was reached, or, through the distance that then occurred in this connection, maybe you moving away from them in this connection, that there's a feeling of isolation. There's a feeling of, the victory not being as sweet without kind of this deeply compatible person, this partnership, this connection, to be there to enjoy kind of the spoils of victory for what had been worked toward. This feeling also of this connectedness, this empathic connection between the both of you, a sense of this person's needs really being anticipated and kind of responded to in a way that could have been unfamiliar to them. They were unused to experiencing that in other connections, and just kind of yearning and longing for that depth and that intimacy, even if they, were really not participating in it. It feels like, you were giving so much for such a long period of time that they're feeling that absence, that void is acutely felt by them now at this point. And they also say, I'm planning on reaching out to you. So this is, again, kind of that beacon on the horizon, what they are working toward, this confusion that they are needing to sift through, learning to kind of work on broadening their love language, learning to kind of put feelings to words, learning to express themselves in different ways, kind of trying to perceive into, maybe even learning about some coping mechanisms that they had had. If this is somebody who was struggling with addiction, they could be in that process of recovery, of sobriety, needing to get some other things in order. So it's they're not ready, but it is in their plan. It's in that long-term plan and that vision. There's hope that they have that this can be salvaged. That kind of the sorrow and this feeling of sort of desolation can be replaced with kind of a closeness, picking up where you left off, and really working in tandem together toward building a more solid foundation going forward. And they also say, I will find my way back to you one day. So that is, again, that energy of kind of being in process at this point in time. A lot of things changing, a lot of things shifting within this person. But as this is occurring, they're definitely, doing a lot of this for themselves. A lot of this is coming through some kind of divine intervention, kind of like almost they didn't have a choice for it, sort of that dark night of the soul happening, a lot of things collapsing maybe or crumbling, these realizations coming to this person. And as they're trying to sort through all of this, there's also this yearning to move toward this very spiritual connection with you, to move toward and participate in this, to kind of enjoy the intangible wealth of this connection, to feed into that, to participate in that, to invest in that, to use these skills of manifestation that they have in order to kind of create a bridge where there is now a chasm between the both of you. And they also say, I love you. So that's a beautiful closing message. And, it really, if this person was someone who was really distracted, maybe their priorities were on things other than love, it's just a lot of that is really, I think, stemming from, belief systems that they had, things that they had been conditioned to, or someone who was just running from kind of a sense of overwhelm, a lot of pain and sorrow and just this heaviness within them. That as much as they may have taken you for granted in the past, it was not for a lack of love. It was almost for, just feeling very out of their element, just very unsure, very hesitant to, they may have even been so used to kind of closing off to pain and sensation for so long, that there was no distinction. There was no ability to kind of separate with that. It's almost like, getting caught up in that storm, or that kind of that habit or pattern of just kind of only focusing on the surface, not dealing with emotions, not, dealing with things on a deeper level. And so when love presented itself to them, they were just so used to kind of this tunnel vision, this very goal-oriented focus, that they weren't able to open up and respond to receive your love in a very meaningful way. They weren't able to provide love in a very deep and kind of multifaceted way in the past. Somebody who just, the priorities were kind of out of alignment, but somebody who's coming to that truth and clarity of that, kind of working through that shadow, that sense of disappointment within themselves, to pick up the pieces in their life as best as they can, learn some new skills, some new abilities, and to try to find and forge a way forward back into the heart, back into that truth, that center of love, and then in time kind of navigate their way back toward you as well. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you now, group 2, about the situation. Okay, and we have love your body. So this is definitely somebody who is learning to love themselves, learning to love, I feel, that emotional body, kind of what they have been through in the past, learning to love themselves in all those kind of shadowy aspects that they may have really denied, parts of themselves that were really neglected. As far as guidance, you're really being encouraged to focus on things which make you feel uplifted, which make you feel good, which make you feel appreciated and seen. Loving yourself for just the sheer amount of love that you exude and radiate from within. When people are unable to receive that, are unable to reciprocate that in kind, it can often be sort of that first instinct to question ourselves. Maybe we were too much. Maybe we weren't giving enough. We tend to like to put the blame on ourselves, either first and foremost or in tandem to really projecting that out. And so if you have been in any way through dealing with this person, been questioning your worthiness or kind of caliber of love that you had to give in any way, if you've been kind of trying to dim yourself down, dull yourself down, in terms of kind of the vibrance of love you have to give, or in any way have sort of shut your heart off, maybe a feeling of being, taken advantage of to some degree in love, not getting that love back, that love not being appreciated and received. And so you've come into this space of then wanting to just sort of keep it all for yourself, and having a hard time kind of opening up to others in the aftermath of this, or even opening up to the idea of, this person shifting and changing, being a little bit hesitant and guarded to offer that cup of love to them again in the future. Then you're really being guided to, try to seek out and nurture yourself in those wounds, focus on really rebuilding yourself in that certainty, kind of breaking out of those patterns, those kind of limited beliefs that there was something wrong with you, when in fact it really could, in this circumstance, just be speaking of a deficit within this person, kind of a closed off heart shocker within this person's priorities being out of alignment with their higher good and sort of the truth of their core self and their soul. And so at this time, really focusing on raising your vibration, allowing this person to go through these changes organically, not putting your life on hold, waiting for these changes. If you're picking up on these things, kind of that, that intensity of emotion, that sorrow, maybe some anger that's coming up from this person, then really focusing on nurturing yourself, being very gentle to yourself, being very kind to yourself at this point in time, making sure that you're, eating well, eating kind of clean foods that, are good for your body, getting enough rest, getting enough, exercise, getting up, walking around, spending time outdoors, spending time around, friends, doing things that you enjoy, keeping that vibration very high so that you're able to, kind of recognize the heavier feelings you're picking up from this person, the energies you're picking up, and not allowing that to kind of weigh you down. To understand that, you know, you may be acting to some degree as kind of an energetic sounding board, a filtration system for kind of that overflow that's going on within this person, but it's not your duty or obligation to hold that weight and carry that burden for them. In fact, it is your duty and obligation to yourself to do what you need to do in order to kind of transcend that, accept that, recognize it, and take whatever steps are necessary. Maybe you take a nap during the day. Maybe you treat yourself to a nice dinner, or you make yourself a nice dinner. Maybe you turn your phone off for a few hours, or you go out for a walk in nature, something that just sort of grounds you, brings you back to center, something that is just focused on you. Giving back to self is especially important at this time. And as you're doing that, just as you're picking up on kind of these denser energetic ripples from this person, that also reverberates out to them and can really help to uplift them in subtle ways, or at least kind of point the direction, point the way forward, make that route clear to them as far as where they should be shifting their focus and attention, what they can be doing to change that circumstance, kind of encouraging them to seek out similar kind of experiences or situations or activities that can then help to raise them up out of kind of this denser and heavier space that they are in. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 2, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got M, B, H, J, X, O, L, V, R, and K. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the Carnelian along with these cards, which I will start with to get a feel for who's got you on their mind, kind of a prelude of what they want to say to you, what are they thinking about. Got Justice, the Tower, Wheel of Fortune, Page of Wands, the Sun, Manifestation, Lady Goddess, Feminine, and Limitless. So to start with, in terms of signs, with Justice, we have Libra. The Tower is Aries. Wheel of Fortune for me as a reader is mutable energy, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius. With the Wands, we have Fire, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and the Sun is Leo. So this feels like somebody who, with this Wheel of Fortune, you could have kind of drifted away from each other. Maybe with the Tower, there was some kind of a very kind of finite and final ending between the both of you, something very shocking, some kind of shocking revelation, some kind of a disappointment, a dream you had been working toward that crumbled. This could have been somebody also kind of the energy of a false start, where there could have been a lot of chemistry, a lot of buildup between the both of you, but it just never really took off into anything very solid and stable. Something where maybe life took you both in different directions, again with the Wheel of Fortune, or you know, maybe you met somebody else, they met somebody else, just other circumstances played out. Maybe fear kind of held this person back from expressing themselves, or if you had expressed yourself, maybe they, fear kind of held them back from really kind of taking that next step. This could have been someone where you had started kind of dating them casually even. Things had kind of started off slowly. Maybe you started just talking with this person, perhaps even at a distance, online even, and you know, it just got to that point where it, you know, the plans to get together, to meet up, it never really happened. It you know, sort of fell through. Maybe the person got cold feet, or kind of closed off, ghosted you. Something happened and, you know, it was very sudden, very unexpected, left a lot of questions, not a lot of preparation could have been available for that. This could be something also with this Tower, and kind of this bolt of lightning here, some kind of divine intervention that really tore this connection asunder, or the potential that existed there asunder. Maybe something as this was someone you're getting to know them, something that you learned about them or they learned about you that could have really triggered something, was a legitimate red flag, or appeared as a red flag out of like a very wounded space within the ego that kind of, you know, caused them to go into panic mode and just kind of sever things, move away from the connection, cut things off, block this. Something where there wasn't a lot of anticipation or planning, something where you're not even really sure what happened, what's generated that, what caused them to all of a sudden shift course, shift direction, and what was happening in the buildup here. With the Wheel of Fortune, which in this deck is the Wheel of the Year, this is feeling like sometime in the past that this happened. Maybe at least it's been at least a year since you've spoken to this person, or at least one full season of like roughly 3 months has gone by since whatever this occurrence was. Kind of time is ticking, time is marching on, and there's just, you're no closer to getting any sort of an explanation or an answer from this person. They continue to even just kind of run or evade this, kind of, you know, dealing with that elephant in the room, so to speak, somebody who maybe was operating out of kind of assumptions or fears, and they just, they keep avoiding that. They keep not wanting to really address that, kind of deferring that, sort of pushing that away, stuffing it under the rug almost, and just kind of in this stance of, there's no turning back the clock, maybe something that was even said, something taken out of context even, that really just shifted things. It shifted this person's perception of you, or vice versa. It could have really created some kind of a wedge or barrier to where you started just sort of drifting away from each other. Kind of the good times, this very happy energy could have started to kind of wane between the both of you, and kind of be replaced with this kind of cold energy, somebody who, wasn't as showing as much interest, somebody who was kind of not responding as quickly or as frequently, just coming up with a lot of excuses, seeming very distracted, kind of moving into this energy of iciness, closed off, frozen and cold. And it's something to where, with this feminine card here, this card of intuition, maybe just even sort of this instinct that you've had that there's more to this story beyond what this person is telling you in the way of excuses, or even if it was something very sudden where communication was cut off, there's this feeling of something having happened, but not being sure of what that was. Maybe even something with calling into question your own intuition, really having this situation with this person creating a lot of upset for you in terms of, maybe having misjudged them. If this is a red flag that came up, or a perception of a red flag, something really triggered from within, that caused you to kind of pull away. You could really be chiding yourself about your intuition having failed you, about, maybe opening up to someone that wasn't the best choice to open up to, or in some way feeling maybe tricked or deceived by them or by your own intuition in this circumstance, having a hard time relying on that guidance within, because the last time or in this circumstance when you did that, and it seemed to be something that was building, it had the momentum, it had the possibility, the potential to have that crumble and fall away, that it's made you almost very hesitant and unsure about if you can trust your instincts at this point in time. So some healing may have also needed to take place within that. On the converse of that, you could have really ignored some red flags about this person in the past. Maybe some situations or circumstances that weren't to your liking. Maybe this was somebody that with this tower was, married, was in some kind of a karmic marriage, or like a relationship, maybe even had children with somebody else, and they were kind of building toward moving into this connection with you, and then just really backpedaled, kind of went back into that marriage, maybe out of a desire to, kind of do what was best for the children, even though it was, a very kind of an unhappy situation, and it left you with a lot of unanswered questions, left you hanging, left you really kind of upset at yourself as well, being very harsh, maybe judging yourself as well for, the choice to get involved with somebody like that, or to, not create better kind of ultimatums or other kind of a different sort of standard for yourself, any ways that you might have settled for you yourself being the third party, the third wheel, the person on the side in a situation with a marriage or some other kind of a relationship as well. This can also really talked about with these children here, this inner child wounds in both of you, that these circumstances have really brought to the surface, that it's really triggered whatever maybe this was that happened, that was said, or what was assumed. It was triggering some kind of a deep and underlying core wound. The rejection, the subsequent rejection, maybe pulling away or ghosting that happened, could have also triggered some inner child wounds maybe within you of abandonment, of rejection, of loss, maybe some themes of unrequited love that you've been dealing with kind of habitually in your romantic past, that this circumstance has really caused you to have to address these things. It does seem that, in a large way, you've done a lot of healing about this. With justice, you've come to a place of peace, even with kind of this idea that you wouldn't get closure with this person, that, they wouldn't come back, that this is kind of, the situation's been shattered and there's no repairing that. Kind of moving also, turning the page in your life toward a more positive future, focusing on your own abundance, focusing on your own happiness, cultivating that, focusing on things which bring you joy and which you do have effect over. You have the ability to have some control as far as how much you invest in that, choosing to invest in more uplifting experiences, people that are operating with integrity, honesty, really this situation causing you to recognize how this might be something you need to work on in the future in terms of, friendships, platonic relationships, other romances, really not seeking to operate in a stance of illusion, but, trusting in what you are seeing, trusting in the red flags, kind of being very, very clear and disclosing what it is that you want, setting that bar at a certain level and, waiting until somebody is able to kind of rise and meet you in that sense. In terms of on this person's side, it feels that whatever was triggered, whatever happened that caused them to maybe cut off this connection, distance themselves, move away from this. It's something where, it's a decision that with the Justice card here, they're recognizing that, some kind of an apology is owed, that this is kind of a loose end. This is something where, it may have, again, been really motivated by fear. It's something which could have been even an unfounded fear, maybe something that they heard, maybe something that somebody else told them about you, or that something said, some kind of it feels like a miscommunication or something that was misconstrued where they almost overreacted to that. And that as time has kind of gone on, this person has kind of gained some perspective on things. They may have gained perspective on how they were overreacting, how they treated you unfairly. In some way, they're really valuing and prioritizing you as well. They're sensing this, this very warm energy that they experienced with you, these good times. There's this desire to kind of resume that, to kind of move back toward that. With this manifestation card here, and really bringing up obviously the Magician in tarot, and this person really coming into alignment with what it is that they want, recognizing some fears within themselves, and how those kind of those fears may have really created almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy for this person in the past. And them really shifting into the vibration of kind of disconnecting from maybe these ties and tethers within their mind space, tethers within the energetic body to experiences that they had with previous partners that kind of led to disappointment. This almost feels like red flags in the sense of maybe not genuine red flags, but almost like a perception of that. Maybe something about you that was very similar to a previous partner. If you're watching this and you resonate as a feminine, as a divine feminine, you're watching this for your masculine, there could have been something related to kind of a feminine energy from their past, maybe some kind of a mother wound, something to do with an ex-spouse, an ex-girlfriend, an ex-partner, some even kind of fear in terms of this feminine energy, this kind of receptive energy, somebody who was not, didn't feel worthy of receiving love, somebody who kind of pushed away love fulfillment, somebody who could have really been in the mode of self-sabotage in the past, somebody who has come to some kind of clarity and recognition that they have operated as their own worst enemy, that they may have really sabotaged kind of this limitless potential for growth and renewal that the universe had been offering them, and instead previously with you chose to stay kind of stuck in these old patterns, expecting the worst, assuming the worst, rather than focusing on kind of the newness of this. Somebody who in the past was not really able to recognize that, this is fresh energy, this is new energy between the both of you. And, if there were things that reminded them of a previous partner, belief systems, maybe something you said, the way you said it, even something about how you look, something about your family, about your background, just something that your belief systems that were very similar to someone that caused them some pain in their past, and being unable to, at the time, really kind of differentiate between that, sort of holding you accountable for the mistakes of somebody else. That this has really shifted and changed within this person. This clarity has come to them, this awareness that they have really sabotage this wish fulfillment, kind of this opportunity for renewal, for a better story, kind of moving on in the direction of fulfillment in terms of love, based on kind of being trapped and limited by sort of the narratives of the past. So with this limitless, this is talking about someone who has done and is doing some of this shadow work within themselves, this tower to kind of bring down, to cut away from that. This could be somebody who is, kind of practicing cord cutting rituals, or just is in some way trying to kind of tie up those loose ends, those attachments in the mental space, those stories, those narratives, those belief systems, kind of physiologically how that's affecting them, learning to identify triggers within them, within this kind of, physical body space, primarily in, I don't know if you can see that there with this illuminated heart chakra, but, wounds related to kind of love and abandonment, maybe even things from their childhood in the past that have in some way constricted their ability to recognize and receive and trust in love that was being offered to them. And through this work that this person has done on themselves and is doing on themselves, all of this is really kind of acting in tandem also with the energies of the universe to kind of turn the page between the both of you, to create this energy of a fresh start. This person wanting this person also really taking action to do that, to make these changes within themselves, thinking about, what has happened with you in the past, filled with this feeling of regret over, the way that they jumped to conclusions, or kind of how harsh they were with cutting things off, how unfair they were with cutting things off, knowing an apology is owed, justice needs to be restored, balance needs to happen in this situation. There's this desire to, to give and to experience love, to step into a happier chapter. Somebody who, really desires kind of resuming the good times between the both of you, kind of wanting to start off small, kind of stepping into this very tender territory, this newness, this limitlessness about what love can be, learning to distance themselves from what love has been for them, and learning to look with optimism on the future. Somebody who, through practices of law of attraction could also be thinking about you, trying to, send thoughts your way, trying to actively manifest you in to their reality, to their life. Somebody who could really be, in the state of hopefulness, setting those intentions, praying that your heart will be open to them, that if they come back around, if they open these lines of communication, if they offer some kind of an explanation for whatever spooked them before and caused them to kind of retreat or run or pull away or cut things off, this prayer within them, this hope within them, this desire within them, that they're coupling with actions of change in order to be able to provide you with something solid, something well-rounded, that can, hopefully open you up, open up the potential here to experience a new change, kind of this energy of rebirth after maybe a very cold and closed off period, or where things were kind of shut down between the both of you. So somebody who's doing a lot of work within themselves, who is, really having a lot of this work within themselves. It's come to their awareness how they really have self-sabotaged. So this is work they're obviously doing this for themselves, or it wouldn't be done very effectively. The most effective way to accomplish work within ourselves is to be doing, and change within ourselves is to do it for ourselves first and foremost. That creates the most lasting change when we do things, exclusively for others or with others in mind. With that kind of exterior perspective, something outside of us, that's subject to all different kinds of variables, and it's kind of a shaky ground. It's like that energy of the tower almost building upon a sand castle, where you put so much hope and so much of that action and energy of change is dependent upon kind of the presence of another person, or how that other person would receive it, and any kind of a little shift in that, or any kind of fluctuation in that can kind of crumble and erode what was actually a faulty foundation. So this seems to be like somebody who is building that very solid foundation, making change within themselves for themselves first and foremost, recognizing that they need to show up as a changed version in order to be able to really turn that wheel, turn that situation, turn that page, in order to, based on whatever happened, to even have something to offer that you will entertain in a very positive light. Somebody who is trying to remain optimistic and hopeful that better times can still await the both of you, and is kind of in that process of stepping into that best version of self so that they can present in a very positive light to you, so that energetically you will be able to really perceive and receive and understand sort of that desire, that honesty, kind of somebody who is wanting to bring a lot out into the light, offer some explanations, somebody who is wanting to, again, kind of give into this connection, nurture into this connection, honor this connection in a way that they couldn't in the past, and honoring it in the form of really showing up as a most unencumbered version of self, whether that's external circumstances that they're needing to let go of and move away from, or internal changes that are needing to be kind of crystallized in order to provide the opportunity for kind of these seeds, these sprouts of a more positive chapter to germinate between the both of you. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self. What do they want to say? Okay, and they say time for rest, self-care, rejuvenation, and retreat. So this is really talking about a lot that is happening within this person trying to really sever these cords of attachment to experiences and triggers and belief systems about love that have stemmed from past experiences that have kept them limited in how they've been able to show up, that have caused them to self-sabotage in this connection. This is someone who is, really going within, really introspecting, coming to terms with a lot of things, balancing a lot of things, coming to terms with the head and the heart as well, kind of how fears had really clouded or obstructed the truth of their heart. And so in this period of withdrawal, as in this silence between the both of you, a lot has happened, a lot is shifting, and a lot is changing within this person. A lot is becoming clear to them. And it's kind of armed with this knowledge that they are stepping into this energy of being able to kind of move forward and provide you with some kind of an explanation. Maybe for some of you it's closure, and for others of you, it will be somebody who is kind of works through some things within themselves and is able to show up in a more authentic manner. Somebody who is kind of working through those fears of love to be able to receive the energy and the love that you have to give, and to be able to really respond in kind with that. And they also say we are still connected. So confirmation there of them definitely thinking about you, feeling you, sensing you energetically, really recognizing you as kind of this very positive force in their life. The experience with you, and almost this kind of this crashing down feeling that they may have had, or kind of this awareness that came to them after sort of the dust settled, that they maybe unfairly judged this connection, or had kind of prioritized fears and limited beliefs and kind of excuses over turning away from this gift of true core happiness that the universe was providing for them. All of this is really bringing to the forefront some lessons within this person, some things that need to be released, some growth that needs to take place. It feels like a lot of growth has happened in your life as well, with that kind of wheel turning to this more positive energy, creating abundance for yourself, creating this, this self-love, infusing yourself with this energy of a glow up, really raising your vibration. This person sensing that, and it almost feels like you having led the way in some capacity, and this person is now kind of embarking upon that energy of change, working through those fears, coming out of that very kind of stiff and constricted vibration of being very closed off, and somebody who's starting to kind of take a look around, open their eyes, do a little bit of introspection and inventory, and see how sort of the ghosts of the past, or kind of these limited belief systems, or things that might have been attached attached to them from other experiences in their past, or even things templated on them from other people, how that had really almost acted like sort of a puppet master to this person, and had caused them to sort of veer away or sabotage from the experience of a very new and beautiful chapter in terms of love in their life in general. And they also say, I think so highly of you. So they definitely, this really talks about if they had, kind of pulled away, ghosted, shut things down between the both of you, it was not for a lack of love. It almost feels like out of a sense of overwhelm, somebody who didn't really feel worthy and deserving of wish fulfillment. And so, just kind of almost somebody who was looking for any excuse, with that idea of sort of these false triggers coming up, that fear, false evidence appearing real. Somebody who, the deeper and deeper that you got into connecting with one another and kind of opening up and getting to know each other, the closer it came to taking those next steps, or, creating something very solid. It could have brought up these fears, these wounds within themselves, for the purpose of these things being healed. There's a sense that, this person was almost very weighed down in the mind space and the heart space and the energetic body. And it was almost too much weight, too much baggage to be able to bring into creating a very positive and uplifting future between the both of you. So as difficult as this circumstance might have been, divine intervention could certainly have been at play to some extent, or their higher self, or it was all really for the purpose of kind of clearing these things, releasing these things, lightening up and almost purifying and cleansing their energy. Some issues also that would have come up with you as well, as far as rejection, fears of unrequited love, fears as far as your, trusting your intuition, kind of these narratives that were sort of tying you down, and the work that's needed to be done to kind of free yourself. So the two of you in this very kind of uplifted vibration are then able to really have this potential to kind of meet each other in this very innocent and sort of pure energy in the future. And we also have passion games. So the intensity of this connection really might have, again, sparked and triggered something within this person, maybe a fear of, the intensity of their feelings for you, and this being something that could be weaponized against them in the future. They may have been used to dealing with partners who were kind of manipulative, who use their attractiveness or this person's devotion to them as kind of a weapon of manipulation, a tool of manipulation. And so that could be talking about one of those fears that this person was really triggered by, that caused them to kind of retreat, caused them to unfairly judge this situation according to the standards that they had experienced previously. And this is something that they are coming to terms with, they're addressing, they're recognizing, and having to really separate themselves from. And they also say, trust your feelings, not appearances. So they are encouraging you to sense energetically into this, to see beyond the demonstrations that were made, and to really perceive that undercurrent of fear that may have motivated them to cut things off very abruptly. A lot of unanswered questions could have been left in this circumstance, where you really could have doubted your worthiness, doubted your lovability, maybe felt that you came on too strong, or just you didn't have enough to offer. And this person is really encouraging you to understand that you were enough, you were more than enough. You were this very positive and good and warm blessing for this person that also really sparked and triggered and almost brought their attention to some aspects of themselves where they didn't feel worthy and deserving of that. Some lingering kind of pain left over from the past that was barring their ability to receive this blessing of love. And so, seeing beyond that, seeing beyond whatever was said or done, to identify that core of fear and wounding that this person was operating from, can definitely help you to kind of regaining some of your self-esteem and your confidence. And so you can continue to operate and move through the world in that energy of an abundance mindset, that you are enough, you are worthy and deserving, and will receive healthy and reciprocal love from an individual of a vibration that is an adequate match for you, whether it's this person through work that is done on themselves in the future, or the universe sending you another comparable and compatible person who is able to recognize you for the gift that you are. I'm going to get a few more messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 3. Okay, and they say, I miss you. So again, this kind of this sense of longing, this sense of love, this sense of, really this awareness having come to them of the ways in which they have sabotaged something really good, a blessing, a second chance in love, even if this was somebody maybe who was divorced, somebody who had, been through a very difficult breakup and had kind of closed their heart off to love. Closed their heart off to the idea of partnerships, had swore to themselves they would never open themselves up again to be hurt like that. And it could have even been that kind of blockage or barrier that caused them to sabotage in the past. And it feels that once that happened, this awareness has come to this person of kind of having pushed away that wish fulfillment. There's this longing, this urge, this yearning within this person to, make these changes within themselves, to do the work within themselves, to free themselves, to step into that most authentic and healed version, so that they are, kind of in the optimal position to create a fresh start with you in the future. And we also have twin flame, so this can be a confirmation for you if you resonate as a twin flame, that this person is at the very least at the soul level recognizing you as this counterpart energy. The circumstances that were triggered through this interaction, through this encounter in the both of you, this has really been for the purpose of ascension, of addressing some core wounds, some generational wounds even, or just kind of things that were haunting one another, reoccurring themes from your past. And sort of the pain being that gateway to sort of the journey of self-love, to the understanding that to nurture oneself, to focus on one's abundance, to raise one's vibration is, the best antidote to sort of that dense and heavy and kind of haunted feeling that can follow people around through life based on kind of compounded experiences or situations that hadn't properly been dealt with, or had left kind of significant psychic scars upon people, or even in the heart space. So definitely an ascension journey, a self-love journey that the two of you are on, and this can really speak to about this person's desire to kind of make those changes within themselves, raise their vibration, experience that glow up that you have done as well. Kind of you leading the way, and this person now getting on board with that process to make the changes that are necessary so that they can kind of meet you at that next level and potentially come back together for 3D union or reunion in the future. And they also say, there is so much I want to tell you. So this really is relating to kind of those fears, those triggers, the explanation that this person wants to give, some kind of an apology they know is owed, understanding that there are a lot of unanswered questions and a lot that has come clear to this person. This feels like somebody that, maybe taking their time in terms of coming back around, trying to formulate exactly what they want to say, making sure that they touch on, a lot. There may be a lot that they need to go into as far as their history, their past, their motivations, wanting to not come across as someone who's just giving excuses, but wanting to provide you as much information as possible, including this energy of love and of longing, making sure that you understand that you are enough, you're more than enough, and then also kind of really crystallizing and bringing it home to kind of the vibration that they were dealing with before, sort of that density and that very encumbered space, that very closed off space. This can be a process as well for this person, a block that they're needing to work through, to open up their heart to love once again, to open up their heart to the truth of what their soul is telling them, that, this connection with you, it's for a higher purpose. It's something that can provide them with peace and with balance, can really be that balm for whatever disappointments they have experienced in love in the past. They also say, I was pretending to be someone else. So this can talk about, somebody that maybe had kind of moved a little too quickly out of their comfort zone in the past, somebody who wasn't necessarily ready for love and pushed a little too quickly against their own sort of boundaries or barriers, which caused those triggers, those alarm bells, that perception of red flags that, they really needed to retreat. It was an indication to themselves that there still was some healing work that needed to be done. Kind of this prelude or this peek into what was possible with you, and somebody who may have felt that they were ready, they were all on board with that, and then they came to find that there still were kind of these strings or these energetic cords kind of binding them up in the heart space or tying them to experiences or people of the past. They also say you make me want to be a better person. So that's a beautiful message to close this reading with for you, group 3. And it really talks about, again, kind of stepping into that best version of self, the work that you've done on yourself, the glow up, the ascension, the self-love. This person has really felt this energetically with that twin flame energy. You're very much, entwined with each other. It's almost like this quantum entanglement, that what you are doing across distance and space, it is vibrationally having an effect and a change on that person as well. They are sensing that, they are experiencing that. It's almost like this idea of kind of like if you're fishing and there's a fishing line in the water and you're sitting there out on the land with the pole and there's something happening beneath the surface, the fish that's, touching on that bait or taking that, that whatever you have there on the end of that hook, and to feel that tension, that quiver in the tension on the line that's felt by the person holding the pole. It's almost like that. It's the changes that, you have made in the emotional space. It's created this quiver on that tension, that bond, that thread between the both of you, where this person is sensing that something is shifting, something is changing. This is that call to action for them to make these changes, to make that concerted effort, to dive into that water, to see what's there, to be with you in that space, in that environment. Somebody who, is really in the process of kind of transcending these boundaries, these obstacles, and these barriers within themselves, identifying their triggers, learning to kind of sever the cords of attachment to people, places, and things in the past that have, really limited their capacity to experience joy and to receive the blessing of love that this connection, and even in other ways in their life that they have been offered. This could be somebody who, in general has some deep feelings of inadequacy, feelings of not being worthy and deserving of happiness. And so they kind of have this process of sort of going around and self-sabotaging, playing very small with their life, expecting the worst and then sort of generating that kind of a result for themselves. And this is someone who's kind of breaking free from that, stepping beyond that, expecting good for themselves, believing that it is possible, taking steps to achieve those dreams, and may in other ways be experiencing kind of the results of that change in mindset, maybe even through law of attraction, experiencing some results. And it's building this momentum, this excitement within this person that it just might be possible to kind of shift the circumstances, turn the page in this connection with you as well in the future. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you now, group 3, about this situation. All right, we have embrace meditation. So this is that guidance to go within. This is kind of, it's tying into that trust your feelings, not appearances. You and this person are deeply energetically connected. You're being encouraged to connect with them on the 5D and the higher realms, from their higher self, to trust in that core of love. Understand that you are both leading yourselves and each other home to this, higher version of self, this higher expression of self, regardless of the time that it takes, or if this person ever gets to that point of making profound and impactful change in the 3D in this lifetime and through all lifetimes in the in the higher realms at the soul self. You two are connected. This incarnation really was intended to teach you both a lot about self, to encourage you both to go within, to kind of break some of those ties that were binding you to limiting belief systems, or that you'd been kind of carrying around as sort of this sludge from experiences of the past, kind of leftover garbage from situations of the past that you've been kind of packing along with you, and that you've reached this point where you no longer need to carry that, coming into that awareness that you have the ability to free yourself at any time. Inner peace is something which really this situation is trying to really teach you and encourage you to recognize that things will unfold organically as they need to. There's no need to rush. The need is to be very present, to recognize what you can control right now, to allow things to play out with this black and white checkerboard here. This again is kind of this energy of, this polarity, this masculine and feminine energy, this yin yang energy. Balance is being restored within this connection energetically. And that takes place through balance that is being restored individually in terms of, yourselves and in terms of your life. Kind of setting those intentions, taking concrete action to manifest that change in your life, recognizing shadows within you, recognize kind of these wounds within you, seeking to infuse that with the light of acceptance and realization and tenderness and compassion. And this really talks about, the potential here as well for two, integrated and balanced individuals coming together in the future to experience a more balanced and integrated connection together in the material plane. And a lot of that starts, internally, a lot of that starts in the energetic level. So in the interim, connect with this person, tap into that, do some cord cutting meditations as well with this person from their higher self level to really sever any sort of lingering wounds, feelings of inadequacy, feelings of rejection, feelings of being even tricked or deceived by this person. Free yourself from that density, and that can help to also kind of free the energy up for the both of you, so that if this is someone you have the intention or you would like to come back together with in a 3D union, you can help to kind of hasten that process, or at least open things up energetically for that to develop, that to materialize potentially in the future. If this is somebody who you are merely looking for closure with and you have no interest in being with in this lifetime, then kind of tapping in at that higher level, instead of waiting for this person to come forth in the material world to offer you that apology, that kind of reconciliation, that vindication, you're definitely being guided to take those steps independently and on your own to connect with them energetically. Provide yourself with that healing, free yourself from those chains, those bindings, and by doing so, you can also help to free this person to either come forward with that explanation for, or apology for closure, or it's something which, you can kind of get to that point energetically where, the wounds with this person, kind of the uncertainty, the growth through difficulty that needed to be accomplished with them up to this point, you're able to kind of complete that, to conclude that, to kind of close up that loose or gaping wound for yourself, so that if you choose to move forward and open yourself up to love again, you're not operating in that energy that this person was previously, with all these kind of like these ties and these strings and these, constrictions and this leftover kind of residue from other things, but you're able to move forward in a very balanced and centered manner, knowing yourself, knowing where you've been, what you want, what you will accept, what you will not accept, trusting in that discernment, trusting in the universe to deliver that to you, that healthy and reciprocal love in the form of this person at an elevated version of self, or another person that is of a comparable and resonant vibration for you. But through these challenges, this is definitely a doorway to growth, a doorway to that inner sanctum, that garden within that you are being guided to cultivate and tend and visit as often as possible, or as you need to, in order to find solace and really focus on that core of self, that truth of love, which is what you are, which is what you exude, and which is what you are worthy and deserving of experiencing and receiving. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 3, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got X, P, A, I, G, D, F, C, and S. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.